All right, with that said, our guest speaker today is one of our very own. We love her to death. She hails from Fresno, California. That's right. And she got involved with ACN because she wanted to make a little extra money to help her husband out because he was having some back problems, I do believe. His health was getting deteriorating after working 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years with a family. That happens because, we're only human. We have so much in us, right? And she wanted to do something to help her husband. She got into the part-time, it kind of like Debbie Davis, make a little extra money, not seriously, but you know how people kind of play with things. I don't know why, but they do. We all do. And so daughter wanted to, and then she started talking to her daughter. Daughter wanted to go to college, and she actually made enough money to put her daughter through college. And then she showed up one day and says, you know what? My team needs to see me be a leader. I need to lead by example. And she woke up and started taking it more serious than ever before. And as she hit the right position of regional director, she said, and I quote, I should have did this a long time ago. And then she said this, that I never forget. She's not for me, but to show my team that it was possible. Now, see, to me, that is a wake-up call. Everybody on the call, you should be saying to yourself, I need to hit RD or RVP to show my team it's possible. Because no matter who hits it around you, until somebody that you know personally, that you see all the time hit it, our belief level goes to the roof. Without further ado, regional director from Fresno, California, the one and only incomparable Miss Evelyn Phipps.
Thank you so much. That was such an awesome introductory. Thank you so much. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Mr. Thomas, because without him, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't have even gotten to the position I am right now, RD. With his mentorship, his leadership, and a little bit of pushing, because he knew, you guys, we all have it in us. We all do. I could have done this a long time ago, and I just procrastinate. So let's just not procrastinate, okay? So first and foremost, I want to welcome everybody and say hello to all the beautiful faces out there, everybody roaring and ready to go. Happy Thursday. A little bit about myself, so we're not complete strangers. Most of you know already, like Mr. Thomas said, during the course of time, I worked for corporate America, big insurance company. Everybody knows it. My husband worked in construction very diligently. Now it's been like 30, 35 years. But at the time, his back was giving out and he was told, you have to have back surgery. So he was put out of commission for over a year, and it was just me and my income. Well, we like to do things, and we had things. We weren't going to be able to afford all that. And nobody at that time, that was when that big crash was coming down. Nobody at that time could afford anything. So I took it upon myself to work extra hours. Well, when you're salary, that doesn't even matter. So a girlfriend of mine showed me this business and I got excited, especially with the energy coming. We didn't even have energy back then, but I mean, my hairs were coming up because I was like excited. I knew a lot of people that use, electricity and gas and stuff. So obviously I jumped in. As time goes, your why, like Mr. Thomas said, is going to change. So once we got back on track, because we were going to lose our house if I didn't think about doing something. I was going to go to the 7-Eleven and ask for a part-time job. So just doing this very diligently every Sunday, you guys, because I was working 6 days a week just to try to keep us afloat. So Sundays, I gave it to my mentors, the Kings in Fresno, 100% on Sunday after church, and boom, boom, boom. It took me 2.5 years to get to the point where I could ask for a favor, because I'm the favor giver. I was always giving favors to everybody, doing favors for everybody else. But I'm here to tell you, we need to ask for the favor now. We do. Okay, so like Mr. Thomas said, eventually my why turned. I started helping. My daughter wanted to go to San Diego. My husband said, it wasn't in the picture because I used a lot of the money already. But I said, wait a minute. I can help her. So I did. I paid for part of it. I sent her and let her do her thing. She's now back. She said she appreciates all that. So I'm going to show you, I want to talk about Well, actually, I had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about, but then I went through some old journals and I found something that I really want to share, but I'm going to share it after we see this video. So, Mr. Jabri, it's a short video. It's a little over 5 minutes. Thank you.
If the truth be told, and we were being totally honest, most of us don't like waiting. Particularly if we're waiting for something to change or something to get better. Waiting can be a very frustrating experience. But the worst kind of waiting of all is waiting on God. When God forces you to wait for things to get better in your life, for things to improve, to change, to reverse, and nothing is happening. And yet, over and over and over and over and over again in the Bible, we're told to wait on the Lord.
The most difficult place for you to be in life is in God's waiting room. In God's waiting room. Some of you are in God's waiting room right now. What is God's waiting room? When you're in a hurry for something to happen and God isn't. That's God's waiting room. Some of you are in a hurry to graduate. Some of you are in a hurry to get married. Some of you are in a hurry to start a family. Some of you are in a hurry to launch a new business, to close a big deal. Some of you are in a hurry for a big goal, a big dream, a big accomplishment. Some of you are in a hurry for all kinds of different things, and God isn't.
We as human beings hate to wait, and we especially struggle with waiting on God. Have you ever been in a hurry when God wasn't? And you're, God, I know you're going to come through, and I'm praying this really godly prayer. I know it's your will, so where are you? Why aren't you coming through? And you're in the waiting room of life. And we get so impatient. We want to hurry God up, and we want things right now. And some of you have been waiting for God to come through, and you're about to give up, and you're getting discouraged. And you realize that God's standard time is not always running on my time. And it's in the waiting rooms of life we learn to trust God the most. In those difficult waiting rooms of life, that's where God grows us and builds our character the most. Through the pain of waiting, we learn to trust God. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. That's when he builds our character.
You see, while you're working on your project, your goal, your dream, your vision, God's working on you. And God's much more interested in you than in what you're trying to accomplish. Because you're not taking your accomplishments to heaven, but you are taking your character. And sometimes God says, yeah, I intend to give you what I've promised you. I intend to answer that prayer. I intend to fulfill the vision, but you're not ready yet. I want you to grow, and when you're ready, then it's going to happen. A lot of times we think we're waiting on God for something to happen, like a prayer to be answered. God says, you're not waiting on me. I'm waiting on you. I'm trying to prepare you. I'm testing your faith. Will you trust me? But I'm also trying to grow you up, because the blessing I want to give you is so much bigger than you can handle right now. You're not ready for it. You can't handle it yet. Another thing you have to learn in life is that a delay is not a denial. There's a big difference between no and not yet. Now, immature children don't know the difference. You tell a kid, not yet, they start crying and having a hissy fit because they think it means no. They don't understand a delay is not a denial. God is saying, I intend to do these things in your life that I've given you the vision, the dream to do, but you're just not ready yet. And at the right time, I will answer your prayer. God's often waiting on us. Now, why is this important? Because when you're in God's waiting room, you fall temptation to all kinds of negative emotions. You start worrying, you start stressing out, you get anxious, you get irritable, you get spiritual ADD, you can get envious. You can get jealous. You go, hey, he got a promotion. I didn't get the promotion. She's having a baby. Well, I'm not having a baby. She got engaged. I didn't get engaged. He's starting a new business. It's taken off. What about mine? And all these kind of negative emotions can come into your life. And then you get frustrated, and then you start having a pity party. So what does God want you to do when you're in the waiting room of life? And because you're going to go through it many, many times. God is not a vending machine where you put in the prayer and then you pull the thing and you instantly get it. There's always a delay. The delays are by design. The delays are by design to teach you to trust him and to grow up in your character.
Hey, a delay is not a denial. There's a big difference between no and not yet. For those of you who are parents, you understand this. There's a big difference between telling your kids no and not yet. It's just not time yet. And a delay is not a denial. We see it all through scriptures.
Okay. The reason I started with this, you guys, is because this will help you grow. For those of you that are in a rut or are still too afraid to come out and start piquing people and talking to people, this will help you grow. It's all about timing, you guys. This helped me. This kind of stuff I knew like 3 years in the business. I should have been, back then it was TC. I should have been all that. But I needed to grow. I needed to grow. I still needed, in me. You guys, the waiting for something to change, the change comes within you. That's all about like the self-development, whatever we need to change, maybe we need to be better listeners and listen to the people that we're trying to pique and prospect. And then being in a hurry. Why do we hate to wait for change, but we don't do anything to change ourselves? We're always waiting, everything's got to be in a hurry. These younger millennials, it's all about the microwave mentality. They want it done now without doing anything to achieve what they want done now. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, we all need to change. And in order to do this business, we need to change ourselves. We need to grow within. I know I needed a lot of it, and I'm still growing. You have to be humble. When you show the ACM plan and you're piquing people, asking for the favor, we have to ask for the favor, you guys. When we don't ask for the favor, we're taking that away from somebody. I know when people ask me a favor and I'm able to do it, it gives me gratification. It makes me feel good. Like, God, I'm so glad I was able to help that person move or watch their kids for them, or maybe loan them $100 or whatever it was that they needed. It makes me feel good. So when we're asking for the favor, if we don't ask for the favor, we're taking that away from somebody else. So we really, really need to learn to ask for the favor. And don't be in such a hurry. I hope you guys heard what they were saying. Without self-development, you're delaying yourself. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. And it will happen for you. Delays are but by design. You have to develop yourself and trust in yourself. Okay, so those of you that are still like, don't want to go outside because you're not sure about the pandemic or whatever reason, you need to work on yourselves. You need to. And what I mean by that is self-development. Read books, listen to motivational things, and practice. Practice. If we didn't learn one thing in Lake Tahoe, it was all about practice. And boy, did we get a lot of practice. So yeah, we were good there. So I want to give you something that I found in one of my old journals, like Mr. Thomas is always saying. And this is by Steve Harvey. because he's really into faith and everything too. The 10 rules for success. Okay, number 1, you need to find your gift. What does that mean? Okay, for all of us on this call, it should be ACN right now. ACN is our gift to share to other people, share the opportunity, share the plan. You need, number 2, you need to embrace failure. What is failure? The no's. If you can overcome the no's, you're on your way. Because what if you don't ask somebody? What's the worst that can happen? They can say, no, I'm not interested. Okay, no problem. Go to the next person. That person doesn't, they're good. And I get this a lot. These young people, I'm good at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever they're working at. Great. Mr. Koupas always says, everything's great. Great. So I love that. Number 3, you need to push through the dirt. And what is that? The dirt, the negativity, the people that are, maybe you have some friends or something that are telling you, oh, those things never work. They never work. You got to block that out. You maybe don't even need to hang out with them for a while. I'm not telling you to disown the person, because it could be a loved one. It could be a family member. It could be, I'm just saying you need to block it out. Maybe not spend as much time with them as you normally would, only on family vacations, like Mr. Thomas says. He only sees his family around Christmas time, Thanksgiving, things like that. Number 4, you want to multiply your efforts. What is that? You got to duplicate yourself. Once you start getting people in your organization or in your team, you need to duplicate yourself so that you're not the one doing all the work. Because I know there's a lot of people out there. I mean, this was my biggest thing. I'm a nurturer. So when my organization got really, really huge, I couldn't be everywhere. And it was my fault. I needed to teach them how to do the plan, how to take their fears out of the way, how to say everything. So that is a must, you guys, because we can't be everywhere. And if we're doing a Zoom call for somebody else and you need us to do a Zoom call for this person or that person and they want it right now and then, what are you going to do? So you need to practice and multiply yourself. Teach others to do the same thing. Number 5, surround yourself with like-minded people. Well, we're doing it right now. We're all on this call. And outside of this call, if you don't have people close to you that are like-minded, call somebody else that's on ACN. Call somebody that's an entrepreneur. Or read a book. Read a self-development book. But don't hang out with negative people. Those ones that always say that never works, or so-and-so tried it and he lost everything. What are you going to lose? $200? Number 6, manage your strengths. Okay, find what you're good at. Mr. Thomas is always saying this. You don't have to be good at everything right away with ACN, but some of us are really good at getting ID seal customers. So let's share it. If you're good at something, share it, because that's your strength. Some of us are so good at promoting events. Share what you do. Some of us are good at getting Vivint. Share what you know, your strengths, you guys, and share them. Number 7, learn to balance your flexibility and focus. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you were like me when I first started this, once things started happening for me, I had like ACN insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything else. My job, I hated my job. So, I tried to get through that as quickly as possible. I was just constantly, everything was ACN, ACN, ACN. Well, you need to be able to focus on everyday life too. And I'm not saying don't work on ACN. I'm just saying when you're not doing ACN, you're not doing it. Like I had somebody say, okay, I'm I'm with family right now, so I'm not going to be doing, I need an hour, and that's fine. That's fine. You just need to know how to balance all that. And when you're not doing ACN, you're not doing it. Number 8, jump. What does that mean? You need to take that leap of faith. You need to jump. You need to get out there and do what you need to do. You need to start peaking people. You need to start prospecting, all that. You need to start working on yourself. Whatever it is, you need to take that leap of faith, because you're not going to get in a position without doing nothing. You really need to, open our mouths, peak people. You need to believe. Most importantly, you need to believe in yourself. Give this when you're doing ACN, give it your 100%. Number 9, you need to dream big. Write your dreams down. Remember the old dream board thing? See it, vision, look at it. Write your dreams down and how you're going to accomplish them. It doesn't matter how big the dream is. Some of you maybe want to be, fly an airplane. It could happen. Why not? There's a lot of people in ACN that have bought in planes and have done it. Some of you, no matter what your dream is, it can happen, but you need to write it down, and you need to write down how you're going to accomplish it. Okay? And number 10, you need to show emotion. What does that mean? You need to be humble. Do and say the things, do and say what you, about whatever it is, but you mean it. Be humble. And if you show emotion, you show emotion. Those of you that know me, I'm a very emotional person. I show emotion all the time. Mr. Thomas shows emotion, but be humble. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't just say you're going to do it. Do it. Now, I don't know if any of you, but that really helped me. That when I wrote this down, and this was back in 2018, when I wrote this down, I wrote down notes below it of what this meant to me. And I'm glad I found it, because now I can keep looking at it. Things like this that help me. Same thing with this video I just showed. The timing is everything. Once you get down the list of what you need to do, self-development, working on yourself, practicing, look at yourself in the mirror and practice the plan, the 1 through 10. You guys, you don't have to be an expert on saying the 1 through 10. They don't know if you're saying it right or wrong. You're just reading it. You're just reading it, and that's it. And that actually shows them, oh my God, I can do that. All they're doing is reading it. I can do that. Why can't I do that? When you're prospecting somebody and you're showing them the plan, that to me was one of the keys that got me. I saw Miss Guerrero saying the presentation, and I thought, oh my God, that lady, I've known her all these years. She was so quiet like a mouse, and now she's up presenting. If she can do it, I can do it. That was my thought. The same thing when they got their 100 points and they were up on the stage. I said, if they can do it, I can do it. So I'm following my leaders. Now, before I end this call, I want to bring up Mary Perez, because I want to ask her a couple of questions about our Lake Tahoe trip. Now, without divulging too much, because you really need to be there. Mary, are you there? She might be muted. Yes, she's muted. You need to unmute her. Are you there, Mary?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you for being on. Now, you guys, this young lady has been in a few years as well, but when she first got started, it was a very slow process for her. She's gone through trials and tribulations like all of us. Life gets in the way, you guys, but she is willing to be coachable, willing to learn. So I just want to ask her a few questions from the Lake Tahoe event. Okay, Mary, now that you have attended 2 Lake Tahoe leadership trainings, how do you feel this has helped you?
I want to thank you most of all, Evelyn, for being my coach and my mentor. And the first time I went to Lake Tahoe, I was very excited. The pieces of the puzzle started to come together. I had no experience in network marketing. All that I've learned, I put into action.
Good. You guys, before the Lake Tahoe, she had been to all the international, she was taking notes, doing all that, but she never really interacted and did things, you know. She was still piquing people, but trust me, this is a learning like no other. Okay, second question. Do you feel like your confidence level has risen to maybe closer to a 10 now?
Yes. After attending the second time, I've learned more and I love hands-on. I remember praying to God, if I can learn hands-on, I will do it, whatever it takes. I never shared this with anyone. This second trip made me remember I am not the same. I feel I have more confidence and posture.
Good for you. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay, and do you now understand the importance of open-end questions and getting the person to talk about themselves, like when you're piquing somebody or whatever?
Yes, it's more about them and not, not about me, and painting a vision of what is possible for them.
Exactly. You guys, it's about the more you hear them talk and ask questions, I'm serious, then you listen to what they're saying, and then you're able to paint a vision. Like, you know, if I can show you how you can have more time with your family, would that be of value to you? Of course, everybody wants more time to spend with family, or time to do whatever you want, go water skiing or flying a plane or whatever. So we're really, really excited, huh, Mary? We're ready for the next one in November. All I can say, you guys, is you really, truly need to attend at least one. And if you can't, find somebody to practice with, somebody on, maybe you're all, somebody in the East Coast, somebody that you can do Zoom through and practice with. Because the more interaction you get, the more confidence you have in going out there and running into people. Remember, and it's only all about complimenting people too. I do it all the time. I went today to the gym a lot earlier than I normally do. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to meet new people. And so the lady at the desk said, boy, you're really early. They just opened at 4:30 and I was there like 4:45. I said, yeah, I go, I thought I'd come a little earlier. It is getting hot. I go, and plus I'm going to be talking today later on and giving some, and she goes, really? What are you doing? And at the time the phone rang, but she asked me, what is it that you do? You guys, right there, I already made a contact because she's asking me what I do. But she was busy because the phone rang and then people were coming in. So she sees me every day. So I'm going to talk to her tomorrow. I told her on the way out, I'll tell you tomorrow. She goes, yes, I want to know how it all went. I want to know, what you're doing. So it's easy to talk to people, you guys. It really is. We just got to get out of ourselves. We really do. So Mary, thank you for sharing with us what you got out of the Lake Tahoe event. Trust me, she got to practice with the young gentleman that had become RD in 30 days? It was crazy. 20-year-old became RD in 1 month. And she got to practice with him, not knowing that until after. So you guys, you really need to practice, and you really need to make it a point to try to attend one of those events. So Mr. Thomas, that's what I had. I hope everybody got something out of it.